Friends and viewers, good day. Today we will discuss about a non-fictional book, a pamphlet, a very important pamphlet, one of the great books ever written in the history of human being, a political and economical pamphlet. The name of this book is The Communist Manifesto. This is written by Friedrich Engels and Karl Marx. And here I have the two copies of Communist Manifesto, a very beautiful written. It is introduced by Harold Lasky, and the Communist Manifesto by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. So these two books I have in my hand. Let us talk about this book, about this pamphlet. It is a very influential book in the history of a human being. So the name of this is Communist Manifesto, written by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, is long life friends. So the Communist Manifesto, this is a political text by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, aimed at both developing the theory of communism and engaging reader to take up its cause. This book is first published in 1848. The book offers a detailed critique of capitalism, a spirited defense of communism, and a social suggestion, a practical suggestion for bringing about a communist society. So this is the Communist Manifesto. Marx and Engels, his friend, had suggested that there is a specter is haunting Europe, a specter of communism from the beginning of this book. Of course, it is not Marx and Engels who think of communism as a fearsome specter, but those who misunderstand its motives or wish to halt its progress. This sets the manifesto up as a response to those who misrepresent communism. One of the Marx and Engels' most important ideas is that class struggle is the driving force behind all historical development. The author argued that all societies in history have been divided between the oppressor and the oppressed, whereas in previous societies, this might play out in a more complex form. Like capitalism simplifies class division, splitting society into the bourgeoisie, those with all the wealth and private property, and the proletariat, the majority of the population that has no choice but to work for the bourgeoisie. In a capitalist society, according to Marx, the bourgeois owns the means of production, which encompasses everything that is needed to make C-level products apart from the labor itself. Material, machinery, and infrastructure are all included as the means of production. The proletariat are paid a wage to work with the means of production in order to create things the bourgeoisie can sell, which then generates profit kept by the bourgeoisie. This allows the bourgeoisie to accumulate wealth, private property, and dominance over society. Because capitalism is a competition-based economy, technological innovation can give one enterprise a competitive advantage over another. This has brought about rapid development in technology across transport, communication, and distribution, hand in hand with the bourgeoisie emergence as the dominant class. The thirst for profit also spread capitalism further and further around the world, eroding national identities and forcing nations to choose between capitalism and economic exclusion. Capitalism also results in greater division of labor, driving down the skill level of work and splitting it up into more manual, repetitive tasks. Marx and Engels argue that, ironically, the improvement in technology and better worldwide connection create the opportunity for the proletariat to realize its potential collective strength and ultimately overcome its oppression by the bourgeoisie. The bourgeoisie then is its own grave digger, according to Marx. The grave digger, who is the grave digger of bourgeois class? The proletariat. Marx and Engels outlined the relationship of communism to the empowerment of the working class, which in their definition include anyone who exchange their labor for wages from the bourgeois. Communism, they say, will support all working class parties who seek to improve the position of the proletariat. Furthermore, it will aim to unify the proletariat in different countries and aid them in harassing their political potential collective power. Marx and Engels also defend communism against its critique. For example, they say communism has been charged with wanting to abolish property. The author countered that private property, which include money and land, has already been abolished for the majority of the population. The proletariat, the only really exists for the bourgeoisie. Accordingly, communism, who seeks to abolish the specifically bourgeois form of private property, they make similar defenses against their criticism, including the communism wishes to do away with family life. Finally, they end the section with the practical step for the implementation of communism, including a high progressive income tax, free education, abolition of child labor, and the centralization of the means of transport, education, financial institution. They intend this centralization to be both in the hands and for the benefit of the proletariat. Marx and Engels contextualize their idea about communism with similar writing that has come before. Overall, Marx and Engels have few positive to say about these, though these other work. They identify various types of socialism, communist literature, finding fatal flaws in each. Reactionary socialism, they say, seek only to preserve old ways of society and fails to acknowledge the way in which class struggle propels history. Bourgeois socialism is insincere and wishes to trick the proletariat into being grateful for the bourgeoisie existence through charity and education. For example, critical utopian socialism and communism is literature that, though useful in identifying the way class antagonism changes, society is too crude, idealistic, and ultimately lacking in practical. Marx and Engels are interested in ideas only insofar as they can bring about action and power the proletariat. Marx and Engels declare an alliance with those parties in Europe most closely aligned with communist project. The manifesto ends up like this book ends up with a very beautiful imploring the proletariat to fight against bourgeoisie. So, oppressor and the start revolution. At last, they say, the proletariat have nothing to lose their chains. They have a world to win. Working men of all countries unite. So this is, ladies and gentlemen, one of the influential book of human history, the Communist Manifesto, written by Friedrich Engels and Karl Marx, his lifelong friends. So, as you know that Karl Marx was and Friedrich Engels. Let me tell you briefly about the life of Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, both born in Prussia, now Germany. They had markedly different upbringing. Marx's father supported his academic pursuit and studied law rather than philosophy, while Engels was pushed into joining his father's business As a young age, both men found an affinity with the works of German philosophers like George Hegel, whose theory that societal progress is the result of conflicting elements and the strong influences or their political right. Each of them have found a community of like-minded individuals and the young Hegelians, a group of intellectuals that reacted to and wrote about Hegel's legacy. In 1842, Hegel moved to Manchester, England, to work in the office of Father Cottonbill. So Marx and Engels both became a long-lost friend, and due to a poor economic condition of Karl Marx, he died in 1883 in London. Technically, we can say stateless, 15 months after the death of his wife. So, and this book is written in 1848, a pamphlet, a very influential pamphlet, the Communist Manifesto. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope this is a political treatise and economic, and you can find a philosophy also, a social philosophy behind this book. Thank you very much for your kind listening. I hope you will enjoy it when you read it. Thank you.